I'm Aakriti Agarwal, Labels and Labeling Editor for India and Southeast Asia. Today, I'm in conversation with Mr. Yogesh Kapur, Executive Vice President for Holography Division of Uflex. Uflex is an Indian multinational company that caters to the graphic arts industry. And today, we're going to be talking about labels and holography division of the company. Hello, Mr. Kapur, and welcome to the interaction.
Good morning, Akriti.
So, my first question to you is, how has Uflex managed to continue operations across its huge facilities in Noida and across the country so smoothly through the pandemic?
Akriti, a good question. We have had our fair set of challenges in this current COVID-19 pandemic, which has kind of been going on. However, we've been very, very sensitive, especially related with manpower, and we've tried to manage our operations, making sure that our people are remain healthy and are taken care of. Now there are multiple things which at the unit level and at the plant level which we have done related with following all the norms which were set by the state and the central government, be it setting up a help desk, having a sanitization tunnel, making sure people are wearing their masks, multiple temperature screening at multiple levels. One when people come inside the plant, and then at when they can get into their offices. We've also staggered their incoming. We've also staggered the timings of people when they're having the lunch, so that those that social distancing is kind of taken care of. We also have set up, as I said, a help desk with an oximeter so that things can be checked right when an employee is entering. So besides that, I think one thing which our team at the corporate level has done exceedingly well, and my all kudos to them for their support, is to make sure that we were liaising with the government authorities to make sure that we got all the approvals to run our plant. We also especially the passes which were required for people to kind of come in during lockdown, ensuring that people are safe not only in the plant, while they are transiting from their residence to the work premises and back. So multiple things which were done. Practically, if you ask me, it was not possible for us to have people stay at the premises because we do not have those facilities, and generating those facilities in the short run would have been tough, and also to manage social distancing and making sure they maintain all the hygiene requirements as recommended by central and state government would have been tough. So we did not opt for people to stay back, but we managed to have our employees to come in and work even during that tough time.
Did that hamper the productivity of the plant in any way?
Well, there was truncated production for sure, because initially we were given approval to run our operations only with 25% of workforce. Uh, so that was one of the challenges, and not to say that there were challenges also in supply chain. Our people who are supplying us some of the raw materials were also constrained to make sure that we are, that they were able to supply. Those were challenges. However, having said that, we were definitely making sure, and that is thanks to our visionary chairman, who made sure that we were working and we were getting all the support to make sure that all uh, the supply chain lines for essential items, because a lot of our products, uh, both holography and other businesses, go in essential products, be it food, be it pharmaceuticals, and of course now the hand hygiene segment which has come up. Those supply lines were supply chain lines were supplied and kept filled, so that there was no issues at the end customer level. So yeah, there were challenges. The team, lifted their level and made sure that the customers were satisfied.
Right, thank you. Thank you. So, amidst all the care that Uflex had to take to ensure the employee safety and to ensure the operations are run smoothly, how has the work culture at the company across all its plants evolved during this time?
Some of the points I've already talked about it, Akriti. So talking about the work culture, uh, it definitely gone for a change. World is not going to be the same again. Uh, what we have done at Uflex is we've kind of we quickly got together and made sure that we were going to follow all the norms, and within those norms, how do we make sure that we do not lose connect with our customers? So one side is the customer, the other side is the manufacturing, the other side is the operations, and the other side is HR. So in these three verticals, I'll go vertical by vertical. uh, Talking about the operations, talking about the operation part of it, uh, we made sure that the people were taken care of. They had all the passes. They came in. The food was provided. The social distancing norms were met. The people were taken, their temperatures were taken, that they were made sure that they were comfortable with the form of the passes and all that. So operations were handled in that form. uh, HR for sure was a challenge. Nobody's seen this kind of a pandemic earlier. you know it was a learning for all of us. you know the questions even came in as to why should I wear a mask. So a lot of effort was done by HR to educate people on hygiene, the hand hygiene, the wearing a mask, making sure they're washing their hands regularly. uh, on the other side, we also made sure that frequently the areas were sanitized. Anything which was touched or would likely to be touched was sanitized. Uh, People were, given mask every day, so that they don't keep on wearing the same kind of mask, because the chances of transmission were pretty high. And we've kind of continued to do that, even to the extent that the sanitizers were kind of, contactless sanitizers were kind of put in, so that any chances of transmission is taken care of. So yeah, the challenges were there. And then coming back to the marketing part of it, how do you remain in touch with the customer? you know as we had limited manpower who could come to the office, so we had to take a prudent decision as to who will come and who's important and what needs to be done with the others. Because everybody wants to come to the office, everybody wants to contribute. So we made it a point that only the essential people will come in. Only those numbers were coming into the office, which were for which we had permission from the authorities. So marketing team in turn, was in touch with the customer on phone. We used a lot more video conferencing, teleconferencing, IT enabled stuff, so that we do not lose the touch with the end customer, because that's most important. We are there for the customer. So yeah, things have changed. Even those who came to the office, were kind of, social distancing was made essential. uh, Meetings, we absolutely reduced the number of meetings. We have till now not encouraged customers to kind of come in until unless it's really important, uh, uh, and it has approval from my side. So those are things which have really changed the way we were working, and I think it has changed for the whole, uh, you know, everybody who's involved in this kind of work.
True, true. So, do you think these things are going to change, your plans of attending conferences or participating in exhibitions and the way, you traveled pre-COVID?
Put everything to scrutiny once again, especially anything to do which has economic effect, be it travel. Travel will now further going to be more scrutinized, and questions will be put up as to whether it can be done through video conferencing or teleconferencing only in essential cases and as required by the customer would the travel happen. uh, Not that we're going to curtail everything on travel, but definitely it will be more scrutinized than what was done earlier. Talking about other ways of operation, uh, yes, I think we will be using more of conferencing features, uh, more of quick meetings. Those are things which will be coming into force. Participation in exhibitions would be absolutely as per what returns we're going to get from that. uh, Conferences participation would be truncated. Not that we are not going to participate in conferences or exhibitions, because those are also essential part of learning. uh, so yes, to a certain extent these all things will continue, but they will be more under a radar and scanner.
On another note, I would like to talk to you about the technologies, the trending technologies in the market. So, digital was one of the trends that we saw at Label Expo Europe last year. And during COVID in India, we've seen a lot of inquiries, people inquiring about digital technology. So, do you see Uflex investing in this technology in the near future?
Well, there's no doubt about the fact. What we are also hearing in the market is that digital printing will grow, and probably grow faster than the conventional printing. But I think, and that's my personal view, that both of them have got their own benefits and their drawbacks. Uh, Digital printing, when you're looking at larger formats, larger volumes, is not as economical. Whereas when you're looking at, for new entrepreneurs or new companies setting up, they don't have volumes right at the beginning. So digital printing comes in very handy for them to do sampling and to make sure the trials are done. And one can actually do that volume of printing, which otherwise becomes more expensive on the conventional printing. So both of them have got their own merit. Uh, as far as Uflex is concerned, you know, we will continue investing in capital, uh, provided it makes sense for our customers, it makes sense for our business, it makes financial sense, as well as it meets our corporate objectives. So we're not saying no, but what we are saying is if any investment meets these four parameters which I've just outlined, uh, the we would invest as and when the demand picks up and the customer requirement picks up. I'm sure digital technology will be important. The only drawback, not a drawback, I would say a little limitation on the digital technology is the initial investment and the kind of return it generates. Uh, Once those and right now with the current pandemic in place, there are challenges there, and today nobody is quite sure on the return of investment which any investment right now can bring in. But again, as I said, these are dynamic things. Let's be optimistic about it. For me, pandemic is just it's there. We've got to live with it. Of course things will change, but business will come back. there is so much positivity at the end of the tunnel. Look at the opportunities which have come up because of what's happened globally. People, everywhere around the world, what I'm hearing is, people looking at second vendors. uh, they don't want to be dependent on one country, one vendor. India is placed at the right sweet spot in this situation where we can meet the not only the quality, the volume, and the price requirements of those countries and those customers. So those, both nationally and internationally, there's a huge opportunity just waiting for us. And that also gels with our prime minister's say about, making local. you know and imagine if those companies come in, which are global suppliers. The amount of requirement of labels and labeling products, you know, most of them are coming in the consumer side. And if we look at, those will present tremendous opportunities for us. So I'm just saying it's only a question of little time. uh, but we should be optimistic, and absolutely, there is a lot more globally as well as nationally for label manufacturers like Uflex.
That seems to be the sentiment in the market. That's right. So, another thing I wanted to discuss with you was sustainability. Considering that Uflex inaugurated its recycling plant in Noida last year and you were planning to open more in other parts of the country, so I wanted to know that during COVID 19, was the recycling plant in Noida operational? And what do you think is the future of sustainability in the Indian label industry at large?
So I'll answer the 2 points one by one. The first one you said was, whether we have, started our plant in Noida. Yes, it's operational. That plant uh, is absolutely, full fledged online. And just to add to that, that plant, even during COVID-19, did not stop. It was operational. Uh, and right now, so we process two kind of products there. One is the multi-layer plastic. You have these chipped packets and stuff like that. That's called the multi-layer product. We process that. And the other one is the PET bottles. The water drinking bottles. So we've got good capacity out here at our Noida plant, close to about 10,000 for the MLR, and for about 9,600 for the PET bottle processing. So it's going great guns, and it's operational for some time now. The second part was, what are we doing about the similar plants across India? Uh, so those discussions are going on with the relevant government authorities. Uh, yes, their focus right now has changed. Their priorities have a little bit deviated for now. They're more focused on sorting out and managing the COVID-19 issue. For them, that's priority number one, because the increment at the pace at which the cases are going up. So their focus is right now shifted there, but I'm sure it'll come back because they themselves have initiated these discussions and have shown interest to set up the waste processing plants. Sustainability is definitely one which, at Uflex, we talk about it almost on a daily basis, as to what all do we need to do in making sure that our products are sustainable. And we will continue to invest wherever required. Uh, I think a lot more effort right now is going on to educate our people as to, the plastic which we see as one which is causing trouble, is actually recyclable. It can, so the amount of plastic recycled at our own facility is tremendous. So yes, we will continue to focus on sustainability. We will continue to focus on recycling of plastics.
Right. So, in light of everything that we have discussed until now, how, according to you, has the demand from brand owners evolved during this time?
Excellent question, Arthi. Uh, Brand owners today are very much concerned about their brand, and nothing has changed during COVID from that point of view. They want aesthetics in the brand, and they also want the brands to be not counterfeited. You know what I heard from my team, as well as from whatever I've been hearing from customers. Uh, Today, the challenges which a brand manager is facing is on multiple fronts. Cost, for sure, but the bigger challenge is I build a brand as a brand manager. What happens if somebody just copies it? Now, that is giving a non-uniform experience to the end customer. They're not able to retain the end customer. They are not able to get the customer to come and buy again their product. Now imagine the amount of money which a brand manager spends on building a brand. If the brand is not giving good experience to the end customer, that all money is no good. So today, the brand manager is expecting that the label should not only be appealing and aesthetically looking pretty good and following the laws which are required. You have to mention everything on the label, but they're also looking at what other features can we add to make sure that the product does not get counterfeited. uh, because the moment the brand becomes a big brand and is known, the counterfeiters come in and they start duplicating, and that leads to customers not getting a good experience. So if, for example, if I'm in Bangalore and I'm drinking a bottle of water, I'm expecting a certain experience. It's like going to McDonald's. The experience right across the globe is the same. That's what the customer expects. Now, if it gets counterfeited, the experience is bad, and the customer will think twice to come back again. Acquisition of customer and retention of customer, very very critical in our business and in every business. So the brand managers today want uh, their labels to make sure that they do not get counterfeited, and on all the growth, because not to forget that counterfeiting not only brings in losses in terms of sales, so but also hampers their growth. So these are few things which the brand managers are conscious about, and Uflex as such can really help them in that area.
So the concerns, from what I understand, remain the same as the pre-COVID days. Is that correct?
Well, yes. So those concerns, because ultimately you're dealing with the customer, except the fact that, there are new segments which have come up, there are new opportunities which have come up for the brand managers, and those are for them to kind of tackle. One of the opportunities which we are aggressively pursuing is like the hand hygiene, right? The hand hygiene was not as significant. Sanitizers, which was not as significant. Face masks, PPEs, those were all segments which were hereto non-existent, which have thrown up new opportunities for for not many companies. Uh, so obviously, label companies or label manufacturers will benefit from that. But those are things for brand managers also to look at. Now you've got to distinguish within those, so many people manufacturing the same product as to how your brand delivers better value than the others. So the customer is not customer preference on the consumer buying is changed, if you ask me that. So they are more focused on picking up goods like you and me, the more of the essential items which are required for day-to-day usage are being picked up, the food items, the pharmaceutical items, because we cannot be without them. But talking about automobiles, talking about textile industry, talking about electrical and electronics, those are seeing a little postponement of buying pattern at the end customer. but it'll come back. I'm as I'm a very optimistic guy. I think it will come back, and it'll come back very soon.
Right. So, and do you see a change in terms of the volume of labels that are in demand now? Has that changed post COVID?
Well, yes, it's changed for sure, because some of the segments which everybody was catering to in a big way, automobile was a big, spare parts is a big, electronics is a big segment. You know, other than the segments, as I said, related with food, essential items, sanitizers, hand hygiene, you know. Those other everything else has taken a little setback. So every product not related with that segment is taken a little setback. But again, as I said, it is a question of time by when everything turns back. People are returning back to their normal life, and starting to live with COVID.
Right. So, which packaging segment, according to you, labels, flexible packaging, monocartons, or rigid packaging, which segment is growing the most, according to you, at this time?
Well, I would say all the segments have to Uflex. We've seen impact uh, uh, positive impact on these of these labels, because I think we were one of the few organizations which was operational right from day one. Uh, and those segments which are catering to the essential commodities and food were really the ones which really impacted. Let me give you another perspective, Arti. We, you know, our business is grown, and the business is grown because we were able to take the share of the unorganized segment. The unorganized segment at that point of time, because of financial, because of supply chain, was not able to cater to the customers, the end customers, as what Uflex was able to do. We continued our production. We made sure that, and also what benefits as a company, Uflex, is that we've lot of backward integration. you know for example, I'll tell you about holography. We make our own plates, we make our own cylinders in house, we make our own inks, we have film production. Almost all the products which go into making a hologram are in house. So that helped us supply, whereas those companies which were dependent on raw materials from outside, or products from outside, and were just integrating the products to supply to the end customer, were definitely impacted. And I think one of the other reasons is, those companies which were able to manage their financials uh, will continue to survive and will be able to survive. Others will have a somewhat impact, because this is a capital intensive industry. The working capital requirements are pretty high. So if those are not taken care of and very prudently managed, it will be difficult. And generally, the non-organized sector was playing with thin margins, with playing with very limited capital, and when the capital got stuck, they were not in a position to supply, to come back to normal. It'll take them a little time. I'm sure they will. The government will help them out. The government has got a lot of plans for MSMEs and SMEs, so they will come back. But for now, it definitely is a challenge for them.
Yes, so that is a very valid point, I believe, because this pandemic has been a point of realization for unorganized players, and in some way benefited the organized players for sure. So, and that is very important, and a learning lesson perhaps for the industry at large. So, coming to the end of the interview, my last question to you is, how is the demand for packaging evolving from the brand owner's side? So, is there a demand for absolute sanitization of, say, of food products or other packaged goods, because that is the need of the hour. Sanitization is important, and customers demand that. There are companies that are coming up with antibacterial films and other such products to ensure that there is material available to pack products safely. Is there a demand in the Indian market for such products? Are brands opting for these new innovations in the market?
Well, I've got a very limited take. What I'm hearing from the market, Akriti, is that right now brand managers are focused on filling the shelves, making sure that the supply lines are not disrupted, that the brand does not get duplicated. Uh, so what their focus right now is more on making sure that the sales keep on coming in and the customers are not deprived of their product. But going forward, it's my own personal take that you know there are products which are coming up, which is a unique requirement. I was the other day I was hearing about a solution which a big company has come out with is of how do you wash your of your eatables. The vegetables which you bring in from the grocery store, they need to be washed and need to be washed with something. So that's another segment which is coming up. I'm sure similar segments will come up. Things like antibacterial films which you're talking about, uh, those are something which should be on the horizon, and similar new things which will come up. Segments, as I talked about, uh, the PPE market, the mask market. So a lot of this pandemic is not sad actually. It's lot more opportunities. It's how a brand manager sees it. So question is, can I distinguish my product by bringing an antibacterial product, or can I bring in another kind of a packaging which is aesthetically more good, or which provides an anti-counterfeiting solution, which a person gives, gets a confidence. Can I supply? Can I make the counterfeiters go out of business? Uh, can the product be supplied at the right time? Am I dealing with the right suppliers? A lot of things on brand managers' mind as of now. But right now their focus, what I've heard, and again my personal opinion, is how do you make sure that the supply lines are there up to the customer.
Right, I absolutely agree with you. Another important observation made by you is that we have to tackle obstacles and find opportunities and hidden reserves of resilience and courage we did not know we had. And this is exactly what I think the pandemic has done to us. People who have found opportunities and diversified and grown and evolved. So it is great to get some very positive and uplifting inputs from you, Mr. Kapoor. Thank you so much for your time and for your insights.
Thank you, Akriti. Pleasure talking to you.